Hi everyone, this video is for my sister Katie, who has just purchased the same espresso maker that I have. This is the DeLonghi Espresso Maker. If you look for the model number on Amazon, that model or style number is ECP3420. I purchased from Target on a sale for $129.19, probably maybe a year and a half ago now. The machine has been working fairly consistently. I am pleased with it. It is a low-end model for anybody that is just starting to be introduced to making their own at-home coffee drinks. I personally purchased this because I was tired of spending a lot of money at Starbucks regularly, and I wanted to try to do some copycat recipes at home. And so I found some other YouTube videos and other Pinterest ideas online to help me with those recipes after purchasing this. The purpose today is to demo actually making an espresso drink. My drink of choice is a peppermint white chocolate mocha, and so I'm going to demo doing that. Before I begin, I'm going to go through in addition to the espresso machine, the other items I have that help me make these drinks. First and foremost is a steamer milk jug, I believe these are referred to as. I purchased this one. It's a 20-ounce size. It works great for making one drink per person, but they're all larger drinks, like maybe equivalent to a grande size at Starbucks. And this is probably like $6.99 on Amazon. I went with a generic brand. The other items that you'd want to have on hand is some sort of shot glass for actually pouring the espresso into. This is meant for espresso machines. It's double layered, I believe, because there's a vacuum seal in there. I know it sounds fancy, but it's to help insulate. The top is open, however, it does help keep the heat around while you're preparing the rest of your drink, so I do appreciate that. I actually have two of these. One is in the dishwasher, however, right now, but I use both at the same time, not for pouring the coffee into, but one to keep underneath where the espresso pours out of, and then the other one I usually place underneath the milk frother, and that helps me keep my milk jug underneath and stable so I don't have to hold it. The reason why I really appreciate doing this is because these lower end model espresso machines don't get quite as hot as the expensive ones, and so it takes longer to heat up your milk. I will say that's been the key component to figuring out how to best make drinks with this is frothing your milk longer. You go to those fancy coffee shops and usually you hear the steamer go off for a couple of seconds, maybe 15 seconds at the most. With this, you're going to want to steam your milk for almost a minute. And so typically in the morning, I do make a drink with this almost every day before work. I typically will get my espresso poured, and then I'll get my coffee mug prepared with my syrups, and then I'll froth my milk last. And then what I do is keep the frother under here with the shot glass, keeping it upright, and I turn that on while I go put my socks and shoes on before work. By the time I'm done with that, I come back and the milk is frothed and ready to be poured in with my drink. So without further ado, let's get started making one. With this specific model, you want to turn it to the on state first. You'll see the red light comes on. I'm not sure if you can see that in the video very well. The bottom light is red, and that actually is just telling you that it's heating up. There's a light above it that will turn on green. If the machine is at a cold state, it takes maybe a minute for it to get warmed up. We'll see how long this one takes. While we wait for that to actually get warmed up, what we can do is prep our espresso mixture that we're going to put in here. It's not a mixture, it's just crushed up beans, obviously. So we're going to just go ahead and the scooper that comes with the machine looks like this. It works just fine. This side obviously is to help you pour the beans in, and then this side is to crush the beans into I don't know the technical terms for these things. I'm obviously new at this. So I'm using the double shot size, and so that shot glass I was showing you, that insulated one, it's 2 ounces rather than just 1, which means I'm going to pour in 2 scoops of espresso, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and crush it. It's a little messy, so I'm going to do it over this. Alright, so now that we have that ready, we're going to go ahead and place it underneath and twist, just like that. And now again, I can't tell if you can see it in the video or not, but this light did turn green next to ready, so that means it's hot and it's ready to pour our espresso. So we're going to take our shot glass, again this is 2 ounces, put it right under the middle. This specific model allows you to make 2 shots at the same time, where you could put one next to each other and place the other glass there, but for our case we're making 1 drink for 1 person. So now we're going to turn this all the way to the right next to the coffee mug, and that's going to actually start pouring the water out. You're going to let this fill up all the way for the 2 ounce size that you're pouring. And then once it gets to the top of the glass, you're going to turn it all the way to the left. And what that's going to do is heat the machine up even hotter to prepare for the steam so we can froth our milk. Alright, so to do that, we're going to take our steamer mug or jug, whatever you call this thing, and we're simply going to put our milk in there. Typically, whatever size you're using for this, you want to fill it halfway with your milk. That's going to make sure that you have enough room for the actual froth that develops in the milk, and also it's going to be high enough in the container for the wand to reach it. So in my case, I actually go a little less than half, and I fill it up right to where the pourer starts. You can kind of see that ridged out. So if I look inside, that is actually about only 8 ounces of milk that I'm pouring in there. Alright, yeah, it's exactly 8 ounces actually. I never actually looked at how much I was putting in there. I always just use that bump out to see. Okay, so we got our milk. Alright, I went to the dishwasher and cleaned out the other one that I had. So like I said, I'm going to place this underneath the steaming wand, and that's going to help hold up my frothing mug. Okay. So the wand is about not even a half an inch underneath the level of the milk. I'm going to move the camera so you can see that. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can see it a little bit. You want to make sure that the wand never goes above the liquid level that's in there, because otherwise it will make a mess. The steam comes out of that wand and will just squirt right into your liquid, and then it'll spray everywhere. So as long as you're underneath the surface, in my case I'm almost a half an inch underneath, we are in good shape. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the steam. I'm going to let this run for about a minute. Now since you're not having to hold it, you can either go do something in the house, like I said, put your socks and shoes on before work, or prepare your syrups in your actual coffee mug. So for my case, I'm making this white chocolate peppermint mocha, so I'm going to go ahead and pour syrup in there. If you're wondering what syrups I use, I do typically use the DeLonghi white chocolate. I've tried, I can't think of the brands of them, but I've tried 2 others and I was not happy. I felt like they tasted very chemical and very cheap. This one, it's got a good sweetness to it. They just came out with a no preservatives and no artificial flavors and colors version. So far I've been happy with it. I just started using this maybe about 2 weeks ago. You'll also notice it's 64 ounces, quite large. These come, or you can purchase, I should say, an extra pump for these. I have had this particular bottle with a pump in the past. It works very well because it proportions out how much syrup you're using, but the problem is that over time air gets inside of the container and eventually mold builds up, which then makes your drink useless, your syrup useless. For right now I don't have a pump on this, so I'm just going to open it up and pour it in. You want to use it's typically 2 pumps when you have pumps, and each pump is a half an ounce. So I'm going to put about an ounce, maybe a little less in there because that's an awful lot. Okay. You can play with your proportions as much as you want. Now, we're going to go back to our steamer here because it is just about ready to turn off. You'll notice that the froth did come up pretty high on the jug. It's not overflowing, but it will, so I'm going to turn it off. If you ever get to a point where it's not hot enough and you want to keep frothing it, but your froth is about to go over the top, you can simply put a spoon over like this, and it will, somehow it works to prevent it from going over. That's physics for you. So again, if you ever want to heat up your milk hotter than it currently is, but it looks like it's going to overflow, maybe you put too much milk in there, just place a spoon over the top and that'll prevent your froth from coming out of the top. Alright, so also you want to use a paper towel at this point to wipe off your wand. I didn't bring any over with me, so that's okay, but go ahead and you can wipe off your wand at this point. Now that we have our syrup, and I almost forgot the peppermint. How could I forget that? That's my favorite. This too is Torani syrup. That I do just a little splash of in there. Probably less than a tablespoon, maybe about a tablespoon of that. And then we can go ahead and take our espresso, pour that right over the top of the syrup. And then when it comes to the frothed milk, I don't get too fancy with how I pour this. That's something I'm still wanting to try to play around with. I usually just tilt it a little bit so that the espresso and syrup kind of go off to the side, and then I can just pour in my frothed milk like so. And then something I forgot to mention is I purchased these, I think they're 8-inch espresso spoons. These are much more handy than I expected. They're very nice because they let you just simply stir in your drink together. And there we have it. We have a white chocolate peppermint mocha to go, and it's going to be piping hot because we let it steam very long. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and I guess enjoy. Cheers.